Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Bayda in Yemen. It was really hard to trace out the borders of it on this map, but I did my best. It's very approximate, you guys. I'll show you a more accurate one on Google Earth. So Bayda, as you can see, is in kind of central Yemen. Central being that it's not on the Red Sea coast or Gulf of Aden, it is landlocked. And in terms of geography, it is very rocky and mountainous. You can see the mountains just kind of dominate this whole section of Yemen, and it's very true here as well. It's very, very just rocky with lots of neat valleys and canyons made by the various wadis that run through here, which means that there's a lot of farming in those areas, and this area is primarily known for horse breeding. And that's pretty much all that I have for geography. You can see the capital of Bayda right here. And there is not much else to the landscape. It's very beautiful, don't get me wrong. And like I said, I'll show you on Google Earth, but it's the only landscape to talk about here. Researching the history of this place was a little bit of a struggle because a lot has happened here in the past 3-4 years or so. So most of the articles and just general things that I found about it were about that time, not so much about the older times. So I can only really summarize the kind of earlier history before the 2010s, right? This area was part of the ancient kingdom of Saba, which is believed to be what the kingdom of Sheba was. It pretty much had this entire area of Yemen and into the African continent as well. And let's see. There's so little in my notes. That would have been from 1200 BCE to about 275 BCE. I'm not quite sure what was going on between then and the arrival of Islam, but Islam is the major religion of not just Bayda but Yemen in general, very important for its history. And again, not much else I can find. I assume it was just like farmers and maybe some nomadic people in this area at the time between these events that I'm saying. The Ottomans would have taken over in the 1600s, and they had a pretty strong grip on the region here. There was some ups and downs for the Ottomans, but that would end once the Ottoman Empire collapsed after World War I, and Bayda became part of the Aden Protectorate, which was owned by the British. You can see Aden down here, which I've already talked about in my series. But that was not to last. Yemen was moving toward independence rather uneasily, and once it did, Yemen was split into they have their fancy names, but essentially it's North Yemen and South Yemen. Bayda was in North Yemen, but was like the southernmost part of it. It made up the border here of North Yemen and South Yemen. North Yemen was the more democratic one. It was still like a one-party state and all of that, but South Yemen was Marxist-Leninist, which means North Yemen is the more democratic one. They would have united in, I believe, what was it, 1992, I want to say, or 91. It was in the early 90s. Yemen did all right for itself after unification. It all fell apart once the president that was like holding the country together. He was essentially the glue, kind of a problematic glue, but glue nonetheless. Once he left office, it all came crumbling down. And I'm trying to figure out how to say this calmly and relaxingly, right? There were the people who supported the current president, who still insists on being president to this day. He's never stepped down. There's people loyal to him. There are people against him who just want him out of office and keeping everything else. And then there are the Houthis, who are the rebel group who just want to take over the country and implement their beliefs. And all three factions have been going at it since, like 2014. It's when it kind of got really serious. Right now, at this point in time, from what I can tell, and please correct me if I'm wrong, if you know more about it. I've had a few Yemeni people comment on my videos about Yemen. So please chime in if you know more updated info. But from what I can tell at this point in time, it's mostly the people who support the president versus the Houthis are the two major battles. And in 2021, toward the end of the year, the Houthis managed to capture Bayda. Now, this is, you'd think, oh my gosh, a rebel group has captured the territory, right? That sounds horrifying. It's not. I think we're all kind of more worried about extreme radical Islamic groups like, we have Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram in Nigeria, among many others that I don't want to list because it's not very relaxing. Once those rebel groups would take over, they would completely redo like everything about the country, force people to follow their very strict religious doctrines. It doesn't really seem like the Houthis are that extreme as of now. They're just more occupied about fighting battles, so it's not like this area is like super Sharia or anything like that. From what I can tell, again, please correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just from what I can tell in research. There's not a lot about what's actually going on right now in the area. It just kind of seems like life is just keep on keeping on, right? The farmers are still farming and people are just living their everyday lives. It is a big deal in terms of the civil war because now the Houthis have bigger access to areas like Marib up here and of course Aden down in the south, which is the stronghold of the like pro-president people. So it is kind of like a major thing. It is a pretty big game changer, but from what I can tell in history, it's just, it's just a different occupier, same daily life. So, from what I can tell, and once again, please correct me if I'm wrong, it's not like a crisis situation that these rebels occupy this area, but, it is a drastic change, right? And that's pretty much all that I have for you in the most relaxing way that I can describe it, right? I could go into more details about the actual fighting going on and the political ramifications, but I promise you it is not relaxing. It's very stressful. It was very stressful researching this, so this is as relaxing as I can make it. So yes, I did omit some things, but one, it's not relaxing. Two, this is just a generalized history. We're not going into the nitty-gritty, So with that being said, let me grab the tablet and we'll check out Google Earth. Let's see it. Oh dear. Okay, I hope that wasn't too loud. I'll try to quiet that down. Alright, so here is a better view of Bayda Governorate. Let me zoom out so you can see it a little easier. It is this inland section here, and now you can tell a little better that it is very rocky here. Lots of like mountainous areas and cliffs. And I'm going to zoom out so you can see exactly where Yemen is. If you don't know, it is at the southernmost point of the Arabian Peninsula. It is very close to the African continent. They can see each other on clear days. And yeah, pretty much that's it. This is the Gulf of Aden right here, and the Red Sea right here. I also don't have much to like zoom in and show you. I guess I could show you this slideshow here of Al Bayda Governorate. Look at all these goats. So many. Yemen has the most incredible old-timey architecture. I don't want to say ancient because it's not like Stonehenge ancient. I guess it would be like their medieval period, around the time that Islam came into the country. You can see a beautiful fort back here along with these big towered buildings. I'm sure there'll be more pictures of the towered buildings, but Yemen's architecture is something else. It is really incredible. Look at these. That's like a cleaned up one there. Let's see if there's any better pictures of these tower buildings here so I can tell you about them. I'm looking for like, yeah, it's so neat. It's like when you would make houses out of Legos when you're little and they're just squares. This is what I'm talking about. Villages like these up in the mountains made of these amazing towered buildings. So these buildings were multi-storied for a purpose. Oh, that's a beautiful building there. This looks like a fort. Yeah. So multi-storied for a purpose. The ground floor would house the animals, like all those goats you just saw. The middle areas were where the people lived. And the top areas were meant for lookouts or for extra storage. So they're all designed specifically that way. You can find them all over Yemen. Some are remarkably beautiful. There's an area in central Yemen called the Manhattan of the West because from a distance it looks like a cityscape because these towers go so high. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So I was crawling around this area trying to show you some interesting sights, and the one that I thought was the most interesting was up here. Look at this canyon up here. Let me turn on the 3D. Look at that. Look how deep it cuts into this landscape here. So of course you can see the green of the farms here, little mosques and towns all inside. That must be something else to live in such a profound valley like this. Like I live in Reno, Nevada, which is in a valley, and the sides of the valley are, you know, kind of in the distance. If you're on top of a hill, you can see the sides of the valley. But these look like they're just so prominent to the horizon for these people that would live and work here. It must be really beautiful. And you head down here and you can see all kinds of little cool canyons. It's almost like a Grand Canyon kind of landscape. Like in 6 billion years, this will be the Grand Canyon, you know. You can see all the waterways cutting through the rock, making all of these amazing shapes. Roads following the mountains. It's very, very beautiful. In like a kind of barren way, right? Let's see. There's some more just beautiful, beautiful rock formations cut by all the rivers and things. I don't want to go too far. I think I'm lost. I need the borders back. Hold on. There we go. There we go. I'm trying to find the actual Al Bayda. There it is. I got turned around. So you can see that like this is, you know, a city by the definition of a city, but not much to show you. You can see all the little tower homes and open areas, I assume, to graze cattle, little park areas. Let's see if we can get any picture of the botanical garden now. See, like I would be showing you more, but there's just no pictures of anything here because it's Yemen, you know. It's not like there's a lot of tourists coming here and taking pictures. I'm pretty sure you can't as a tourist. Look at these cliffs. So incredible, right? So, so neat. So, let's look at this park. Oh, we have pictures for this one. That's exciting. I hope they're good pictures. Look at the mist rolling in. So pretty. There's the soccer team. There they go. There's the other soccer team. So yeah, looks like a place where they come to play soccer. Let's take a look. Or football, they would say there, right? Yeah, just a lot of nothing. It's not to say that it's not beautiful or neat. It's something to see for sure, but not much to show you guys. So I am going to end it there for the night. Because if I talk about anything else in this region, it's not going to be relaxing. It's going to be too depressing or upsetting. So we're going to end it there. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing, because on my channel we're going to every little corner of the world. Next we're going to pop it back up to Oman, show you some more cool mountainous areas. I hope that you found this video relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a good night.